it's me, Renee. I'm back, and I'm not. You might not know this, but I suppose in case you notice me being a bit weird today, I've been to dentist. I one of my wisdom teeth was had to like be taken out because it didn't really want to grow. So this half of my face is still paralyzed. So I feel a bit weird. I don't know how weird I see, how weird I look, but in case I look weird, that's why. But yeah, also yeah, this was two things. First, yeah, I planned to do more videos for Vida, and then didn't happen. I suppose like sometimes the days become busy. Sometimes, like the end of last week, it was very sunny here in Norway. Well, here in where I live, and I suppose it depends on where you're from and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people think like, oh, Norway, you never have any sun, you always have the cold, and you have ice bears running around in the streets. We don't have that at all. Not even Svalbard has that. But like some places in Norway has more sun than others, and also all Norway gets less sun during the winter. So when spring comes and you get longer days, more sun, it's like yes, sun. You kind of feel like you have to go outside. You feel like, yes, sun, I'm gonna go outside and jog or something like that. No, no. When the difference for me between winter and summer is in winter, I read inside. In summer, I read outside. I do have a porch. I do have a veranda that I can sit on and read. So I use that sometimes when it's sunny. So yeah. So yeah, last week I had time, but I just kind of wanted to read it and read instead of filming. But today it's a bit more chilly, not that warm. So today, a good day to film. And yeah, as you can see, this is kind of a video in association with yesterday. Yesterday being World Book Day, and yeah, so this is kind of gonna be a random. No, it's gonna be uh, uh, different stuff around books, like not just one thing, but just I'm going to talk in general about books. And yeah, and as usual, I don't really have that much of a plan. I have some thoughts, but I don't plan stuff that much because planning is boring. And yeah, plans are made for for changing. So yeah. Um, First, I kind of want to see like say like touch a bit about the subject of like reading in general because I see like at least more and more in lately we've seen more and more numbers that say that people in Norway read less than before, like in all ages, but like yeah, from from your teens till you're 80, like a lot, like I would say like it's not uncommon to enjoy to read when you're in primary school, when you're learning to read, like yeah, when you're young. I mean, you have the big authors that are so famous, so popular when you're young. Yeah, David Williams. You have now I'm blanking out, but yeah, you have lots of authors that are beloved when you're young. But then as you grow up, a lot of people sadly go out of reading, which is quite sad, really. Um, and I suppose I kind of talked about this last year because I did a tag, um, a reader book tag. No, not a reader book tag. Yeah, but it was someone who like made a tag about reading and like getting people to read and whatnot. And then one of the questions were like, should everyone read? And yeah, it was me, as I think a lot of people kind of didn't really like the wording of should everyone read, because I don't know, saying people should do anything is like a bit weird. But like, it's like some people, because yeah, a lot of people did this tag. You know, I'm not fan. I didn't link it down below because it was quite an interesting tag. But yeah, some people said like reading it's a cool hobby that I have, but I feel like not everyone should be as interested in reading as me, or like should be into reading. And I'm like, yes and no. I I don't really feel like everyone in the whole world should be over the moon about reading, even though if they do, that's amazing. I feel like, I mean, the world. I mean, Gutenberg started printing books in the 1400s, and before that, you had lots of your stories just being told by people orally. So, like, saying that you don't like reading at all, like that you hate reading, I feel like that's just lazy because there has to be some book for you. There is one book for everyone. Because yeah, there's so many books that are published every year. There's, I mean, if you don't like any new books, you probably find some old books that you enjoy. Like saying that you don't like books at all, like that you, I mean, yeah, you haven't found the right book. I honestly believe there's a book for everyone. I feel like, I feel like sometimes like people say that they don't read, and then they kind of mention that, oh yeah, I read this nonfiction last year. I read this crime book last year. Like that's book. I think like sometimes people feel like reading equals classics, which no, I suppose maybe that's kind of the idea if you're not into reading environment, but like yeah, if you read and you just love smart erotica, that's still reading. I mean, that doesn't mean you're not a reader because you don't like classics like Jane Austen, Shakespeare, etc. That is still reading. And yeah, if you yeah, like in Norway, I think a lot of people like say they don't read, but then like they like to read crime books, and I feel like that doesn't really count. But like, yeah, that is also books. I mean, it's not like some people look down upon crime books, which I don't know. At least to me, I feel like crime books kind of has it. I suppose it kind of in a way some people look down upon it, but I also feel like a lot of people, in Norway at least, really feel like crime books. It's the best. Which yeah, it can be, but there's also lots of other good genres out there. And yeah, in my case, I don't really like Miss Crime books that much. But yeah, what I'm kind of getting is like there's one book for everyone. Saying that you don't like reading at all, then you've just had bad experiences reading. But saying that you won't ever love to read or won't ever enjoy reading, yeah, that's arrogant, I would say, because yeah, then you haven't met the right bookstore people, you haven't met the right librarian or met the right person in bookstore, because yeah, there is a book for everyone. I honestly believe that. Do I feel like the whole world should read 150 books like I do a lot of years? No, I mean people read at different paces. Some people have busier lives. Some people have dyslexia. So I'm not like saying that everyone has to read as much as I do. I'm just saying like everyone, at least in my dream world, yeah, in my dream world, I feel like everyone should like feel like they have a slight interest to pick up a book, that they aren't completely against picking up books now and then. And yeah, the blah blah blah. Yeah, I had a thought and then kind of went away, and then is it still there? I'm just gonna think a bit. Yeah, I'm also kind of yeah. As probably know all that already, I love to books. I mean, to books, love to read. I have a bookstore channel, also book in a bookstore. So yeah, I usually like also I kind of always like read like interviews by authors, or like when people talk about how to get people to read and whatnot. And one interview I saw recently, someone said that they didn't really feel like everyone should be a reader, because they feel like why should everyone be a reader? Because they're kind of giving examples, and like if I walked into the subway and saw everyone around me reading, and then I also like said reading. I don't remember the exact title, but I think like it was like Norwegian classic title. Like yeah, let's just say reading Shakespeare. Uh, the person was easier to imagine that, like for a general audience. But yeah, if the person had experienced that, they said like they would go off at the next stop, and I'm like, why? First, isn't it nice everyone reads? And two, what? Because this interview was like, it was an interview with the author. Like, you do know that books is not just one title. There's lots of books out there. I mean, you have like Instagram accounts like New York people reading, hot guys reading in New York. So I mean, there are people who read in subways and stuff. And yeah, also you also have like books which actually everyone reads, like Da Vinci Code, Harry Potter. I mean, there are some books that if you change today, there's some books that everyone pick up more or less. So yeah, why would you be so against people reading? I don't know. Also in a way, like reading, I feel like feel like that's kind of the only hobby that's kind of like looked down upon from like the rest of the world. Like, if someone loves sport, it's like kind of like, oh yeah, people like sports. That's that's accepted. It's fine. If people like, not everyone in the whole world loves sports themselves, but it's not like people who don't like sports. Like I myself, I don't like sports at all. I I mean, I suppose I might I might kick around a ball if I'm gonna play with my niece and nephews and stuff. But I don't really. I won't like put on a football match and stuff like and watch sports anyway. Um, but like at the same time, I'm not going around saying like, "Oh, you like sports, you're such an idiot," or like I might like tease a bit. But I'm not gonna like if anyone is like if I'm walking past someone and someone's doing a sports bar, like, "Oh yeah," I'm gonna think, "Oh, you're enjoying that. Nice for you." I don't get enjoyment out of it. I'm not gonna say you're an idiot to their face. Uh, but like, so yeah, that's not really something that happens. If people like music, it's not like everyone who's deeply passionate about music, but it's not like if people who don't know every album from every band. It's not like you say, "Oh, you're such an, oh, why are you such so into music?" People generally say like, "Oh, cool, you know so much about bands." So yeah, that's kind of yeah, it's kind of accepted that some people are really into music. That's accepted thing. The same thing with movies. Some people very much enjoy movies. They know a lot about movies. They watch all the movies all the time. They have all the streamers, everything. Not everyone is watching everything, but like if you talk to someone in a social gathering and you say like I love movies, people will say, "Oh, interesting. I haven't seen really a good one in a few years or a few months, but have you seen a good one?" Well, yeah. Oh, cool. You like movies. I mean, people react that way. Like I was, I mean, maybe like until recently, there's also kind of been a like shame on being a gamer, but now I feel like gaming kind of has had different idea behind it because like you have esports, you people who make money from gaming. It's I kind of feel like in a way gaming kind of looks like it's more accepted now. It's not that frowned upon. It's not like that uncool. It's a bit more cool than it used to be. But I suppose before it was kind of like gaming and books were like, what you read? But now I feel like it's kind of still it's kind of books. Like if you talk to people in like social gathering and say like you love to read, it's like I haven't read a book in a while. Or people like also like say like I still remember this encounter. But yeah, I was 19. I was doing a semester at university, taking history, and I was going to into town to like get to know the other students. And I was on a bus with students that I've seen around. Yeah, he was taking the same year as me, but he wasn't taking my classes. I don't remember what. I think it was taking a journalist class. I'm not no journalist class. I'm not quite sure, but like he asked me like, "What do you like to do?" I love to read. And he said like, "What? You like to read? That is so boring. Why do you like to read?" Like he went on like a small tirade like, "Oh, books are so stupid." And I was like, "What?" I mean, I, I suppose yeah, I've been sadly bullied before because I love to read. Like I used to take a book with me in for middle school to like read in recess because I really wanted to read during recess. And it was also a time I was bullied in general, but like people would like come over like, "Oh, you're reading? Why are you reading?" And then we just kind of say like, "Books are so stupid. Why are you reading, you idiots?" And it's like, yeah. So I suppose for me, I suppose I kind of would be happy if it would be quite happy if people just stopped shaming people who love to read. But if a lot of people in general like find the joy of reading and like in general like that might end up reading one book a year, that's also cool. Not that like you have to read one book a year, but now and then really. So yeah. Do I also have another? Do I want to go straight through with the idea? For the yeah. And then I kind of want to talk about a thing, which I think this sounds weird. But yeah, so this is kind of me daydreaming in video form, which I do sometimes. But yeah, you know what? Kind of, I feel like it's kind of a bit weird, really, because yeah. So in the United States, at least, I think yeah, you have it some places, sometimes some other places, but at least in the United States, you have some bookstores, independent bookstores, but still bookstores that are romance based. They have just books with romance themed or romance, the romance genre. It's YA, it's queer, whatnot, but it's all romance books. I mean, the most famous one is the Rift Bodies, but you have other ones as well. And then here in Norway, you have a chain of bookstores. Well, bookstores. I think maybe better to like call it a nerdy store because they have books, but they also have role playing games. They have like yeah nerdy games like Settlers of Catan, those kinds of like board games things. They have Lego like big Lego things. They have comic books, yeah, stuff like that, like manga, lots of stuff like that. So they like have yeah, lots of stuff for nerds. But yeah, but also like it's a chain, so they have it on over all of Norway, and some of them have more books, some of them have more comics, but yeah, they all have like nerd things. So it's a I would say it's yeah, it's a store. Not I suppose you can't call it bookstore because it's not just books, but yeah, it's a store for nerd things. And then you have in the UK you have um, Forbidden Planet, which is kind of the same thing where you sell fantasy books, sci-fi books. You have comic books, you have manga, and then you also have board games and whatnot. So yeah, a store where you can get all your nerdy needs attended to in a way. Um, so yeah, you have kind of those two kind of things, and then yeah, I also found one kind of similar store last year when we went to Denmark. Ferro's Cigars, which is actually based upon the name of one of Tintin's volumes, which is kind of funny. But yeah, they also have lots of fantasy books, science fiction books, comic books. They have like a whole floor with just comics and Funko Pops and whatnot, a lot of stuff. So yeah, you have like if you're into fantasy, you can I suppose not everywhere, but like yeah, you have some places you can go online to buy stuff, and you have some places you can go yeah in in store. So yeah, sadly, I tried to check out because yeah, I went to US last year. I don't think the US has like a fantasy dedicated bookstore, or like the fantasy dedicated store. They probably have some indie stores here and there, but I don't think they have like one chain store, which is a bit sad. I feel like, but yeah. So you anyway, you like have those in your world. You have fantasy, science fiction store. You have romance stores here and there. But give me a moment. I have a bit of a small nosebleed, but yeah. So yeah, you have like those kind of needs met, like depending on where you live in the world. But yeah, they exist in the world. But to the best of my knowledge, there's actually not single chain store where you can get history books, and that's kind of been more my jam these last few years. So I suppose not just history, but like steampunk. I suppose steampunk is also is also fantasy, but yeah, it's also history based, depending on how into it, like how it's written. But yeah, it's kind of history in there, and I feel like yeah, like what if like why doesn't anyone think of like cool idea of like making a chain bookstore of just history books? I mean, you have so much. You could have like just 2 3 whole rooms of historical romance. You could have 2 3 rooms of Second World War history because there's so many fiction about that. You could also, I suppose, you can have a non-fiction floor because there's a lot of that. I mean, yeah, there's quite a lot of it. But is it gathered in one place? No, it's not. Um. So yeah, here is kind of what I'm kind of trying to get to, which I suppose I kind of also like. I enjoy like Outland, which is no one in Norway from Planet, and then well, I haven't been to Rift Bodies, but I'm kind of feeling like I kind of want to go there, and I enjoy like the concept of it. But yeah, in my dream world. Like if I just kind of knips, if I could just do this and then I would get a wish and it would happen. And I feel like it would be kind of nice to have like a bookstore, a chain bookstore called Utopia, maybe? Yeah, Utopia, where you have like, there was like requirement to like have this to have be like a part of this. You each location had to have six. Yeah, let's go with 6 floors. And you would have like one floor for each genre. So you had one floor with romance, one floor with fantasy, one floor with historical, one floor with kids books, one floor with biography, one floor with non-fiction. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's 6. And then on one of the floors you could have at the first or first maybe at top. I suppose depends a bit how you do it. You could have a small cafe where you could buy something to drink, and then you can just sit there a bit and yeah. And then you can have this book chain. Like, remember, this is still me like being daydreaming like so much. I mean, I know probably not gonna happen, but yeah, in an ideal world, I feel like you can have this book chain uh, in each capital of the world. So every country would at least have one of these bookstores to go to, and then I suppose some places could have more. And yeah, because I feel like, at least to me, I feel like I kind of have this idea. I feel like there's people who really, well, there's a lot of people like me who love to read, who read a lot, who's very much into the reading books net. And there's people who like to read, but they don't really keep up with new books. They read like 1 or 2 books a year, and I suppose they enjoy reading with it, and I love like very much into it. And then yeah, you have the people who don't love to read, don't hate to read, and might pick up a book every 10 years, whatnot. And then I have people who never read. And I feel like to get people who read rarely, to get them to read, I feel like the availability is a like important thing really. If for example, if you have like places that have lots of bookstores, places that have lots of libraries, places that have like lots of little free libraries. If you have a little free library, which I suppose we have more and more nowadays, but like if you have like a little free library around every corner and like around busy places, then people might like if you're waiting for a bus or waiting for some people you're meeting or whatnot, and you might like think, oh, what I'm gonna do? Oh, I can just look at this little library. Maybe you'll get interested by a title. And yeah, so I feel like I suppose that sounds a concept, but like if you go to like a bookstore, as I said, just 6 floors big, so big. I don't believe like I suppose also like in this scenario you would have like all the books, the bookshelf would be stuffed. You would have lots of books everywhere. It wouldn't like be a little. It would be like lots of books. It would be books everywhere. Yeah, in this case, I feel like if you went in here, it would be people who love to read, people who don't like to read. I feel like you would have to find something. You would still find something for everyone because it would just be so full of all the books. And yeah, getting the right book to the right person is important. Yeah, because I mean, some people are gonna love to read a lot of books. Some people are more picky and they kind of just want books with this, or it has to be like this kind of book. But yeah, if you have lots of options, it's much easier. That was just like for me as like a daydream, like yeah, having a bookstore with 6 floors would just be amazing. Just walking around and just daydreaming and browsing, buying all the books that I don't afford or can afford or whatnot. And yeah, I feel like that would be just the dream really. I mean, it's not gonna happen. Well, I can't really do it anyway because I'm not a millionaire. I don't have the money for it. But yeah, in an ideal world, that would be very nice if it happened. I also feel like I feel like some places you have like 2 or 3 floors with like 2 or 3 floors with a grocery store or like huge places where they have like they sell like lots of sport equipment, but big mm, big bookstores, I don't feel like they're that common. I mean, I suppose you have them here and there, but like some like common. And yeah, I think like it's more often that you kind of close down bookstores and then open up. But yeah, I suppose then on the other side, Bookstore has kind of been a very good thing for book lovers because a lot of people have enjoyed and discovered books through bookstores. And I just kind of I saw recently that I think the US is kind of opening up some bookstores that were closed during the pandemic because people are so into books after the pandemic started to read, and then after finding reading through book talk, so they kind of want to like open up some bookstores again. So yes, amazing. That's very nice. So yeah, that's kind of that. And then lastly, I want to mention a few books about books because World Book Day. So books about books, kind of fitting in there really. Uh, First we have, because why not? Word by Word, which is actually a book I haven't read yet, but I plan to read soon. The Secret Life of Dictionaries by Rory Stamper. It's a non-fiction book about dictionaries, which, yeah, in addition to loving books, I also love language. So this one sounds very much up my alley. So yeah, not everyone who loves to read also love languages, but I quite do. So yeah, I really also like funny words and stuff like that. So yeah, and then we have a literary miscellany. Everything you also always wanted to know about literature. So this is also like a non-fiction book about like yeah different stuff about books, which maybe I'll pick it up soon. I thought I might do that. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. Anywho, yes. Then we also have this series, which I don't have the first one in because I think I led into a friend a while ago. But anyway, it's Invisible Library series. So in this one, you have magical libraries, and the librarians kind of do magic. So it's like there's um magical magical elements to it. There's multiple multiverses in a way. It's parallel worlds, and yeah, and like the magicians, the librarians in this one kind of like a special language which they can use, and they can kind of like manipulate things, and it's just an amazing series. Perfect for every book lover, I would say. And then do I have like more books like books just here? Uh, yes. I just have this recent one I bought recently. Livrorum Ridiculum. So this is kind of compendium of bizarre books. This is kind of like just front covers and then just a bit about the title. And yeah, Ashamed of My Art Writers by Louis Rossen. Just so good. And then you also have one on here that's just so amazing. I'm gonna find it because it's just amazing. Give me a moment. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, the English. Are they human? Which, yeah, I just love that title. It's just amazing. Um, Popular book first published in 1941 by a Dutch author. So, yeah, English. Are they human? Interesting. Are you human, English people? Are you human? I don't know many English people who watch my channel, but if you do, answer me. Are you human? I know you are, but yeah, and that's kind of that. And yeah, I suppose I can also mention at the moment I'm listening to as an audiobook The Fiancé Farce, which is a romance by Alexander Belfleur, and it's a sapphic romance. One of the characters owns in the bookstore, and one of the characters is a cover model for romance books. So yeah, it's very much into the romance world, and yeah, I'm very much enjoying that one. I really am. And yeah, so it was this. Yeah, kind of getting a bit tired now. I'm kind of feeling a bit talking about more so much and feeling a bit here in my mouth. But yeah, this has kind of been my video for today. I hope you had a nice reading weekend last weekend, and that you have nice books in store for you this week. And if you want to talk about a nice bookstore that you've been to, or a dream bookstore that you want to hope happens in the future, or just want to say hi, you can do that. And yeah, um, I'm not really going to show like because this is like the last week of April. I'm not going to sure if I'm going to do a video every day this week, but I have some video ideas, and there will be some videos. And I won't guarantee how many there will be, but yeah. And yeah, bye.